He was just a kid, walking home after practice, his backpack slung over his shoulder. No crime, no trouble, just another quiet evening. But that night, flashing lights cut through the street, and everything changed. The officers didn't see a child, they saw a target. Their voices sharp, their presence heavy. They closed in. He froze, unsure of what to do. What began as a normal walk would become a test of dignity, safety, and truth. And the cruelest part? The men in uniform had no idea who they were really dealing with. It had been an ordinary Friday evening. 16-year-old Marcus had finished basketball practice, sweat still clinging to his forehead as he walked the familiar route home. The cracked sidewalks of his neighborhood had always been his path, safe, predictable, routine. His mind was on little things. The leftover pizza waiting in the fridge, the homework due Monday, the sound of sneakers crunching gravel beneath his feet. But ordinary moments have a way of turning extraordinary, sometimes in the worst ways. Across the street, a police cruiser slowed, its headlights lingering just a little too long. Marcus didn't notice at first. Why would he? He was used to cars passing by, people coming and going. But this time, the car didn't pass. It shadowed him, step for step, wheel for stride. Inside, 2 officers watched. Not his face, not his smile, not the boy, only his skin. Marcus adjusted his bag and quickened his pace. A flicker of unease brushed his thoughts, but he pushed it away. After all, he had nothing to hide, nothing to fear. Right? Wrong. In a world where prejudice speaks louder than truth, even the innocent can feel like suspects. And in that moment, Marcus was about to learn what it meant to be seen not as himself, but as a stereotype. What he didn't know, what the officers couldn't imagine, was that their next actions would ignite a chain of events that would leave them standing face to face with the very authority they claimed to serve. Marcus turned the corner, the dim glow of a flickering streetlight guiding his way. He told himself the cruiser would keep going, that he was imagining the pressure in the air. But then, red and blue lights burst alive, cutting through the dusk like a warning siren. His stomach tightened. The car pulled up alongside him, tires crunching against the curb. The passenger door swung open, and a heavy boot landed on the pavement. "Hey, you!" one officer barked, his voice sharp and commanding. Marcus froze. He wasn't sure if he should run, answer, or stay still. Every choice felt dangerous. The officer's eyes scanned him from head to toe. Backpack, sweaty jersey, dark skin. That was all he seemed to see. "Where you headed? What's in the bag?" The questions weren't asked with curiosity, they were accusations. Marcus stammered. Just going home from practice." The second officer laughed under his breath, circling behind him. "Funny," he muttered. "You kids are always just going home." Marcus swallowed hard. His heart beat faster, each thump echoing in his ears. He thought of his father's advice. Stay calm. Be respectful. Don't give them a reason. But why should he have to think that way? Why did being himself already feel like a reason? The first officer stepped closer, invading his space. "Hands out where I can see them." Marcus obeyed, lifting trembling hands into the glow of the headlights. He hadn't done anything wrong, but innocence didn't matter here. The street was suddenly a stage, and he was cast in the role of suspect. A couple of neighbors peeked out their windows. No one spoke. No one intervened. Silence became its own form of judgment. "Open the bag," the second officer demanded. Marcus hesitated. His textbooks, his jersey, his water bottle, was that what they were after? He fumbled with the zipper, his fingers shaking. One wrong move, one sudden gesture, and he knew how quickly this could spiral. Injustice has a sound. The echo of boots circling you. The snap of orders delivered without respect. The heavy silence of a world that chooses to look away. Marcus was hearing it all at once. And still, the question pressed in his mind. Why me? Why tonight? But what Marcus didn't know, what the officers couldn't yet see, was that their power trip was about to collide with a truth bigger than their badges. The night air grew heavier as Marcus unzipped his bag. His hands trembled so hard he could barely grip the zipper. One wrong move, that's all it would take. "Faster," the officer snapped. his hand inching toward his holster. The gesture wasn't subtle. It was a warning. Marcus's throat tightened. He wanted to scream that it was just books, just homework, just the ordinary pieces of a kid's life. But the words stuck, because he knew sometimes even truth isn't enough. He slowly opened the bag, showing the contents. A math textbook, his basketball shoes, a half-empty water bottle. The second officer smirked. Doesn't mean he's clean. Run his ID. But Marcus didn't have ID, just a school badge tucked in the side pocket. He pulled it out, offering it with shaking hands. The first officer snatched it away, glancing at the name. Marcus Johnson. He muttered the words like they meant something sinister, and then he stepped closer, his shadow swallowing the boy. You think being out here at night makes you look innocent? You fit the description. That's all I need. Marcus's knees felt weak. Fit the description. Those words carried centuries of weight, generations of pain. The officer's hand hovered near his weapon again. The tension snapped tighter, like a rope ready to break. A voice inside Marcus screamed, "Stay calm, stay alive." But the question clawed at him too. What if even that isn't enough? The scene teetered on the edge. One command, one mistake, 1 second away from tragedy. And then headlights appeared at the end of the block. A sleek black SUV, pulling slowly toward the flashing red and blue. The officers didn't notice. Not yet, but Marcus did. And for the first time that night, a flicker of hope cut through the fear. Because he knew that car. He knew exactly who was inside. And the men in uniform? They were seconds away from realizing the boy they harassed wasn't just any kid. He was the son of their new chief. The SUV rolled to a stop, its engine humming low. The door opened, and polished shoes hit the pavement with authority. "Officers," a firm voice called out. Calm, controlled, but it carried a weight that froze the night. Both men turned. Their faces shifted instantly, from confidence to confusion, from arrogance to dread. Marcus's chest loosened as relief washed over him. He knew that voice. He had heard it at bedtime, at family dinners, in pep talks before school. His father. But to the officers, it was something else entirely. It was the voice of their new chief. Chief Johnson stepped forward, eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. His son, standing small beneath the glare of police lights, hands trembling in the air, fear painted across his face. The same face the officers had failed to truly see. "What exactly?" the chief asked slowly. "Do you think you're doing?" Silence. No excuses. No justifications. The weight of their mistake was crushing enough. Marcus lowered his hands, his father's presence surrounding him like a shield. But the damage was already done. The humiliation, the fear, the knowledge that his skin had marked him as a threat. It couldn't be erased. And that is the cruelest truth. Titles and positions may protect some, but for millions of others, there is no chief to step in. No one to stop the story before it ends in tragedy. Marcus made it home that night, but the scar remained, etched deeper than any bruise. How many more times will this scene play out, unseen and unheard? How many more lives will be forced to live under suspicion, judged before they are known? Until society answers those questions, stories like Marcus's will never truly end.